What's going on, people? Good morning. Welcome to United View. Welcome to the morning view as the takeover saga continues. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Get your breakfast in. Get your tea. Get your coffee. Get your hot chocolate. Hurry up and get the kids ready for the school run. Hurry up and get the blazer on to go to work or whatever you're doing, man. Just like keep us on in the background. Yeah, exactly. The blazer. Yes, keep us on, but still stick to what you need to do. So let us know how you're feeling, where you're watching from as well. Good morning, gent, says Sean. Eshe says, big up. Sick and tired of this BS saga, says Sachiv. Yeah, we join you on that. The Dudley Bros in Panenka Studios, Fleck and Owen, says CH. Daniel Luciano.
Flex. What?
Get the table. Daniel Luciano says, morning UV fam, morning Owen and Flex. Can't believe I missed all of Owen's Italian references live. Is that what you did last night because of Don Carlo and that, or what was it?
No, I just, when I started last night, like, I think we were all getting a big dose of reality as to really the gravity of the situation, as to what's going on with Man City, a treble possibly. So obviously we've got to rely on ourselves, but I just wanted to sort of throw out there some sort of Italian hope, and that Italian hope found its way of just sort of saying things that were Italian and saying Forza before it. So it was like Forza,
for no reason.
Pizza, Forza, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, Forza. Someone said, The Godfather, Forza, Tagliatelle.
Yeah,
it was, I started off the show very off topic last night, to be honest.
Yeah, I bet, because we're all kind of rattled. We're going to be talking about the Glazers that are undecided on a leading candidate for the Man United takeover bid. Sheikh Jassim and Sir Jim Ratcliffe takeover battle continues. We're going to be talking a little bit Adrian Rabiot. We've got a big game against Bournemouth coming up. We're going to talk a little bit about that as well, and everything else in between. What have we got at the top of the hour, Owen?
Yeah, so a little bit more on the takeover drama at Manchester United. This time coming from James Ducker from The Telegraph, saying, and I guess most people would have guessed this, that the Manchester United takeover saga could remain unresolved until the end of the Premier League season, with the Glazers still undecided on various contenders after 6 months. It's been going on for 6 months, Fleck. 6 months. Remember when that first statement came out? It was during the World Cup, well, just before the World Cup, during the World Cup, whenever it was. 6 months later, nowhere really closer, are we? It continues by saying talks with Sir Jim Ratcliffe have been increasingly encouraging, but there has been no clear indication from the American family's inner circle that they are ready to declare the Ineos owner a preferred bidder. The prospect of a preferred bidder being declared this week has been ruled out entirely. Key figures say they are now hopeful, but not certain that the process can be resolved by the end of the month. So to all of those people, remember those reports? Easter. Done by Easter, Flex. Done by Easter. Oh, don't worry. It'll be done very, very quickly. When that statement came out in, when was it, November, December, whenever it was, very quickly. It could be done very fast. A couple of months, if that. 6 months later, end of the season, categorically this week, not even getting it done, just like a preferred bidder, it's not happening this week. Don't get your hopes up. It's not happening this week. End of the season, probably not. Because at the end of this, and we've got to the stage now where the end of the season, when people say, oh, this person's ruled out for the rest of the season, a couple of weeks. Season's over in most weeks. So it sounds more sort of grandiose and greater. So, but them saying, oh, it's not going to be done by the end of the season. Well, yeah, because it's not going to get done in 2 weeks' time, is it? Clearly. I mean, what we're now looking at is, forget this season. Are all of these things going to be in place and done by the start of next season? And honestly, you'd probably say no.
And the maddest thing is, it's in this changeover period, right? This is something that we haven't really spoken about, like, in depth anyway, because we're so consumed and, rightly so in what's going on with the Glazers and who's going to sell. In this changeover period, is the money been set aside by the Glazers already to say, we are leaving, we don't know what we're doing? Like, all right, let me start that again. I wonder what the conversation in the room looked like between sort of like Richard Arnold and John Murtough and the scouts and Eric Ten Hag and the Glazers. What I wonder what that looked like when they said, "Okay, Avram/Joel, you're going. We don't know what you're going to do because you haven't told us. You might stay for partially, you might sell it all. We don't know. Can you give us a little bit of kitty? Like, what have we got then? Because we need to start working now. Have the Glazers gone? Don't know. Gonna have to just wait, put everything on hold. Because when we're hearing Kim Min Jae and all stuff like that, or is it a case of like, well, here's all we can do is have a little. There's only 100 there, like what Laurie Whitwell was saying, which we still don't know how accurate that is, but Laurie went quite strong on that. It's 100 plus player sales. That's what we've got. FFP. Is it that then? Is it that they've gone, well, there's only that money there. That's all we got. That's all we know until further notice, till we know what we're doing in the club.
I'll tell you what I think they said. I think if they asked those questions, then it would be right to ask those questions. Richard Arnold, John Murtough, Eric Ten Hag. I think the response they would get is 3 words: business as usual. That's probably what they'd be told. It's business as usual.
Fine players as you normally would.
When we have news, we'll tell you. Until then, carry on as you would usually carry on.
Do you think they're as much in the dark? Do you think like Richard? If you ask Richard Arnold today, oh come on, Rich, like his family or his close friends going, come on, Rich, what's going? Do you think he's going? Honestly, they're just so proud. I ain't got a clue, mate. 1 minute they tell me this, 1 minute they say this person's little.
He's probably privy to certain aspects of it, but in terms of, because you've got the actual bidders themselves going, we don't know. There are still some people within this bidding process that doubt if the Glazers want to sell at all. They think they might have ulterior motives. So I would assume, and again, this is me just assuming, and you know what they say, when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. I would probably think they would probably have just been told, look, business as usual. Carry on planning and preparing as you would. Your budget is 100 million. And to be honest, even if we get new owners in, it's probably going to be 100 million anyway because of FFP restrictions. So just carry on, carry on doing what you're doing. And the thing is, that is much, much, much easier said than done. Because to Ten Hag's point, when he's been asked about these things in these press conferences or interviews, he sort of, goes around it a little bit saying, well, I don't set the budget. And obviously I want to bring people in, but it's difficult. And anyone that wants to, come into Manchester United, any agent, they're going to ask, aren't they? My players coming in, what's going on? Like, what owners are going to be in place, or are they going to be coming in? Then is there going to be a lot of change going on at United? Obviously, people will look at, and we certainly do, a takeover as a positive thing, but you also have to be wary of the upheaval involved in all of it as well, because obviously look at what happened with Chelsea last summer. Big takeover that got done closer to the transfer window, and they were already in the transfer window when they decided, Petr Cech and the other people running the transfer side of things, we're going to get rid of them, we're going to bring in our own people, and it was chaos. And that's a well-run club like Chelsea, let alone like us. Could you imagine the upheaval and chaos that's going to be at United when that does get done? Possibly. And players and agents will be looking at that going, I don't know, man. It is Man United and all this kind of stuff, but still. So it all plays in to the transfer window in the summer. And how so, I don't know. But I'm sure that, the people that are involved in it on a day-to-day are just going to be like, well, we can't sit here and do nothing and just assume something's going to happen, because it might not. So because of that, we've got to do what our plans are, which is talk to Kim Min Jae, see what's going on with Harry Kane and try and sell players.
But even that,
about selling players, surely you have to get sign off from people within the club.
That's what I'm saying. There's so much, like, you can say business as usual, but it's everything but. It's everything but, because you don't know. You got nothing to go off. You got nothing. How when you convince a player to come, like if you ring Kim Min Jae and we're going to pay your release clause, all right, fine, that's a bit different, because it's like, but even if he says, all right, so like who else has come in, and like what's the like. Obviously, Ten Hag can sell that because it's Ten Hag. I suppose you've got to keep it football. I suppose you just got to be honest. Ten Hag would probably, if Ten Hag sat down with Kim Min Jae to convince him to come to Man United, this is my plan for you. I want the team to play like this. I see you as a crucial member of the squad. His agent needs to know he can get this deal for 5 years at this money with these clauses or these, add-ons. but it's a bad selling point for a player when you don't know what you're walking into. Yes, the institution of Man United is fantastic, and actually the lure of that, if we're being honest as Man United fans, it hurts to say it, but let's just call a spade a spade. The lure of that has decreased in recent years. Of course it has.
Yeah.
Because Man United are miles off winning major trophies. You know, you look at what City had just done yesterday. And you know, it's the truth. It's the truth. Yeah. Liverpool have done it more recently than us. You know, Chelsea have done it more recently than us. And Arsenal are starting to knock on a door now. And who knows what's going to happen with Newcastle. So Man United ain't that proposition anymore. We ain't. So we need to convince people in other ways. And it's like, if you haven't got stable ownership and a clear, you know, definitive answer on certain issues, that makes it really hard to sign players. And I know technically we're talking about Sheikh Jassim and Sir Jim at the moment being in limbo, which we'll get back to. But we're just talking at the moment, we're just kind of talking about the knock-on effect on how on earth can it be business as usual? How on earth can John Murtough go to players? How can he go to Harry Kane? Even now,
I was going to say, for the big players, certainly the big players.
Yeah, Osimhen, how?
Yeah, not that they obviously have any say over like takeover stuff and that kind of stuff, but they'd be looking for reassurances that they're stepping into a stable environment, wouldn't they? You know, they'd be
anyone would.
They'd be, you know, I mean, and
they're right
to. With the lesser players, you can kind of, you know, be like,
it's a dream to play for Man United.
Like, what are you asking us for? That's a bit above your pay grade. But for those big players, they've got a right to ask. They'd be like, I've got a career, you know, I've got, you know, I've got options that I could be looking at as well. Like, sell me the project, because that is going to be, you talk about pros and cons. That's going to be a con for any player that's negotiating with United at the moment, going, what's going on with your future? And realistically, United don't have a firm answer to give back to them. They don't.
No,
you know.
And you say obviously the bigger players, because it is, but actually the pool of player that we should be in for now are people that can come, are players that can come in and they're going to be integral. Like, this window isn't just fine tuning and trying to improve the bench and getting like players off the squad role of like what Malacia is. You know, like, young kid, going to be happy to be here. Like, I doubt Malacia said, but what's going on with the Glazers?
Exactly. I mean, that's what
I get that.
If he went, what's going on with the owners of the club? You're like, all right, Terrell.
Yeah. But the concerning, you're right, I agree with that. But the concerning thing is that this stage of the rebuild, we need starters. We need top quality players. We actually do need the players who have the kind of authority and the know-how and the importance and presence to say what is going on, or I won't come, because that's the type of players we need. We need the big players. So and even the Kane thing, I've been thinking over the last couple of days, I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think he's going anywhere. Even if we get top four, I don't think he's going anywhere.
The more that time goes on, my feeling is, or I think the more likely scenario is that he stays at Spurs, not necessarily because he wants to, but because he's told, you're staying, we're risking letting you go on a free. And then he might just go, well, then I'll go on a free next summer. And then I can go anywhere. I can go anywhere I want. And I don't have to worry about Daniel Levy. I don't have to worry about transfer fees. I don't have to worry about anything like that. And
with that, it's only really going to be, that is an extra year on Harry Kane. So he will be 31. Yes, it probably would have been another season of scoring 20, whatever goals of us saying, see, he still got it. But them years are starting to run out. I've got to admit that. They are. But
we brought this up before, and a lot of the UV community was saying that, you know, when we were saying, oh, would you take Harry Kane now for 100 million? And a lot of it was no, you know, 30 is just too expensive, etc., etc. But then when you say, would you take Harry Kane at 31 on a free? A lot of people went, yeah, of course.
Yeah, because it changed. Yeah, because people's biggest gripe is for 100 million
the
quid,
price.
You can invest in other stuff. Yeah, which is fair enough. You don't agree with the price, that's fine. Would you take him for free next year? But here's the thing about for free next year and all that. We got to get a striker now. We can't keep putting.
Yeah, we can't wait next year. No,
we can't just wait. We can't do that. Do you know what I mean? We can't wait for that. And I think personally, again, this is away from the takeover situation. We'll get back to it, but I don't think we get Kane or Osimhen. Don't ask me who the other one's going to be.
Yeah, I don't think we get Osimhen. I really don't. I think that price is too high. I mean, you know, they're talking like 130 million, something like that, maybe even more. I don't see us getting them. And the same vein, I don't see Chelsea getting Osimhen as well. They can be interested, but I just don't see any reason why he would go there apart from money and a really long contract. But, you know, you just won the league at Napoli. You probably say you might do it again next season as well. You're probably going to be better in the Champions League too. I don't see him leaving Napoli. I'll put those cards on the table, Flex.
You just think he'll stay in general? Yeah, we're already trying to go and get Kim Min-jae, even though that's like, it's a release clause. They can't stop it unless he signs a new deal.
Well, put it this way then. Do you see a situation where Kane and Osimhen are these two strikers that are seemingly the two strikers that a lot of people are going, oh, they could go this summer? I think
and they both stay.
I don't know what you think. I think they both stay at their clubs. I don't see them either of them moving.
Yeah, it could happen. More so Osimhen than Kane. I think Kane's still got something could happen with us. I think we will try, especially if we get top 4. We have to try, in my opinion.
We'll have a conversation about Harry Kane, I think.
Yeah. We'll definitely pick up the phone and say, look, Levy, we know what you're on. We know how you move. We know this is going to be difficult. What's it going to take? It's either dialing tone and the phone goes down with no answer. It's either 150 million because he knows we're not going to pay that. And also, I wouldn't even rule out Harry Kane just staying there just forever.
Maybe.
Like Berbatov was saying it yesterday. I was listening to an interview of him. He said that, Levy's a shrewd businessman. He's doing the best for his club. He would do the same if he was Daniel Levy. He did it with himself when he wanted to go to Man United. He was shrewd, and he did it with Michael Carrick. And this is going to be no different. In fact, this is going to be worse. He's their all-time leading goal scorer. He's their legend. But he also said, he doesn't think Harry Kane will go as well. He thought that, it depends what player you ask, how important it is to win trophies. It does depend. Maybe trophies Harry Kane doesn't care about.
I think he does, though. I think he does.
Again,
my prediction is with Harry Kane is that it will go like this. If he has a conversation with Daniel Levy will say to him, look, mate, I mean, unless we get a ridiculous offer, we are not selling you this summer because we can't, as a team, we can't afford to sell you. We're getting a new manager. We're going to try again for top 4 next season. Obviously, there's a contract offer on the table if you want it. And at the end of the season, look, if you want to go, we can't do anything about that. But I'm telling you now, we're not going to let you go. And it's going to be another season here. And then maybe, like you said, because it's Harry Kane and record goal scorer, and out of respect, he goes, okay, I'll see out my contract. And then they see if they get in the top 4 next summer. And then if they do, and there's optimism, he goes, oh, maybe I will stay. Maybe I will just see out my career here. Or if not, he decides to go elsewhere. And then he can go anywhere. I mean, legitimately, it's not even a case. Because right now, it's really, Man United is his only option. Next summer, on a free, he's got, how many options has he got? He can go to Newcastle. He could if he wanted to. I don't think he would, but he could go to Chelsea. He could go to United. He could go abroad to Bayern Munich. He could go to Real Madrid. Benzema, 1 year left. You know what I mean? Anything like that. All of those options are then completely more viable for him. So I just think that's where it's going to go with him. And I just don't see Daniel Levy is so stubborn and so digging his heels in the sand that he'd just be like, no, we can still convince him. We can still get top 4. We could maybe still win because it won't happen. But imagine Spurs won the Carabao Cup next season rather.
That'd be enough for him, wouldn't it?
It would.
Yeah, we'll get a statue now anyway. But
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'd be like, oh.
That's true. That's true. Super chat here from Ahmed says, what are the chances that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is just doing the Glazers a favour to milk Altans for every penny possible? But there was a little bit on that it's all everything is employed to get money up from them. But I don't see how that benefits Sir Jim.
No, I think he probably thinks that, again, he's, the preferred, or he's certainly within this race. I kind of thought about this last night. I said, how would you feel if you sort of thought, actually, this is just one big game of chess between the Glazers and Sheikh Jassim, and I'm actually a pawn in the middle of all of this. And I don't...
They're just using him.
Yeah,
KG was right. When KG said... I know it was funny yesterday, and we just want to take the piss out of KG because it's KG. But that bit where he said, Sir Jim's going to reach a point where he's going, hang on a minute, I'm only trying to buy 50%, 51% of this club. I'm getting my pants pulled down here. Hang on a minute.
Well, yeah.
Just because they've increased their bid... You're now turning to the left and going, oh, so Jim, see that? They've upped the bid. Can you, he's going to go, well, I've actually maxed myself out for for quite a lot of it, for just over half of this club. If I then start going higher than this, I'm getting the piss taken out of me.
Yeah,
He can start thinking that.
And Ben Jacobs did say that, Ineos, it's not off the table that Ineos would take the full 69% of the Glazers own. They're happy to do that. But basically, they've already compromised in their minds.
Exactly.
Thinking, we're not going to, if we were just going for the full 69, then the Glazers might just think, well, they might as well just go with Qatar. Then we can get that price up a little bit more for 100%. So they've already compromised to go down to like 50 to try and make their deal more attractive and better for the Glazers. It was quite interesting as well. I don't know if you saw this from Emmanuel Petit, Flex, when he was talking about
yes, I did, yeah.
what Ineos had done whilst obviously they're the owners of Nice in Liga. And he said, quote, since Ineos arrived in Nice, I don't know who makes the decisions, where they want to go, what they want to do with Nice, especially since with Manchester United behind us, we don't know if they're going to pull out overnight. That's what puzzles me, actually. A group like Nice, which manages 17,000 people around the world and has a turnover of 80 billion, is not even capable of managing a club like Nice and having a clear and defined strategy. When you take the best sporting director, Galofsy at Lens, who made miracles on the transfer market, you see today he is in total disagreement with what they are trying to impose on him. Who is making the decisions? Mr. Ratcliffe, Mr. Blanc, Mr. Riviere, the direction that Nice and Ineos we want to take, I have no idea. Basically saying that the club's kind of directionless and he doesn't know who makes the decisions. And they brought in a sporting director that was good. And even the sporting director's like, I don't know what's going on. Yeah. And they could pull out if they go to United, which again is a realistic possibility. Of course, initially they wouldn't have to, but the point that they're trying to make is that like eventually what if Nice do start doing well and they get in the Champions League, then you'd have to do something.
Yeah.
And also, but the way he's talking is that probably even wouldn't happen with Nice the way it's.
But if you're a Nice fan, it wouldn't happen because they're not run well. But if you're a Nice fan, you're also thinking you don't want to swear, you snake, because you basically come into our club and then you've gone and got obviously one of the biggest clubs in the world for a world record fee. But what's your plan with us? You obviously don't care. We're second best now then as Nice fans. Isn't it? You obviously ain't got plans to push us and get us in the Champions League. And because you're going to choose between Man United or Nice, the one that makes, you can choose Man United all day. And that's not being rude to Nice fans. If there's any watching, not being disrespectful to your club. I'm trying to look at it from your point of view by saying you must be thinking, bloody hell, this, you're probably not, you're probably not that fond of Sir Jim anyway, because he hasn't done anything amazing yet at Nice. But especially now you're thinking, well, he's probably got to sell us then. So now they're going to be in limbo. I know that's not our problem, but it's just an interesting kind of observation from afar, thinking off the back of what Petit was saying. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know if Sir Jim's gonna make a new bid, or because if he sits tight on his bid, it would suggest two things: one, he's just comfortable with it because he always was, or two, he can't go any higher. He's got no more wriggle room. He doesn't have the extra. Obviously Qatar. The Qataris and Sheikh Jassim, we've got this notion, obviously, that they've got this bottomless. I was going to say bottomless brunch there, but bottomless pit of money. Yeah, like they can just keep going into it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But they already have done it once, and would you put it past them doing it again? No. But Sir Jim, the general consensus is that he has really maxed himself out by taking loans, putting more debt on his own company. Can't even buy the whole thing. Has to come up with a 2 to 4. He has to pay him in installments to move them out because he can't afford to do it now. The Qataris can afford to do it now and more.
And also as well, if Sir Jim Ratcliffe improves his offer somehow, then that basically implies that we're back into a situation where these bids were not final bids because they're continuing to escalate. So we've gone through all of these rounds and now we're just into free fall settings, where it's just,
final round of bids, the official fight. That was it. Now there's an opportunity to take it or leave it.
Yeah. Let's keep putting more bids in. Let's keep going higher because they've also said with Sheikh Jassim, that final take it or leave it offer. I think, again, it was Ben Jacobs that said, based on the feedback that they receive about this offer, it's not ruled out that they'll bid again. Like if the feedback they get is, we're getting a bit closer here, they'll go, well, maybe we'll go a bit closer then.
If it's Dickinson's real deal, they carry on bidding.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
What was that Kenny Rogers song? You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. Yeah,
exactly.
That's what it is. Game poker.
Oh,
You
mate.
never
WJ
count
Barrett.
your... Brilliant song. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. The Gambler. R.I.P. Kenny Rogers.
Like a bit Kenny Rogers own.
I know that song. The Gambler, Coward of the County, Islands in the Stream. Me and KG can sing it together. He can be Dolly Parton, obviously.
I can imagine KG knowing like songs like that as well, because I just know his musical things just like so wide. Like he'd go from like Afrobeat, straight up African music, to like dancehall Jamaican, like right through to like country and western, then through to like Elvis beat. Like I could just see him just being that guy in karaoke.
Yeah.
KG, honestly. WJ Barrett says, Sir Jim is being mugged off. Investment to the Glazers was Elliott, because why are they going to take investment and lose control? Full sale always. Qatar coming. WJ Barrett strong again, strong. He also says only way Jim wins is to buy 100% of the club. Waste man. Well, he definitely ain't going to buy 100% of the club. PS says a left field suggestion: don't rule out a third try for João Felix. We must be smart on the loan. Free transfer market options, Thuram, Ceballos, Kamada, etc. João Felix, I'm there. João Felix, mate. I'm there. I love João Felix. I think he's wicked. It has to be under the right circumstances, because he can't be our number 9, like just out and out.
No.
Like, but just in our team. Oh my god, 100%.
We need number 9, 20 plus goal scorer. We need that guy.
But if it ain't, but here's the thing. Smash the like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're going to talk about a couple of other things. Actually, I do want to talk about a piece that Manchester Evening News covered, which was a 72-point-something million pounds problem with Jadon Sancho, actually. I wanted to discuss him because it's an interesting conversation. But before we do that, that point you just said there, Owen, which I totally agree with. We need a striker that's 20 plus goals. Like, that's the guy. Andrew Cole has been saying, look at Man City. They did not have instant success, and look at them now. The players Pep brought in were always young, and he could still sell them for a decent price if he needed. That's what I think Man United should do, because they have been caught too many times bringing in players for ridiculous fees and on ridiculous wages who have run down their contracts. I don't think they can afford to be caught in that position again. That's just a bit where he says he thinks Man United should go for Osimhen over Kane. Like, if you're going to spend 100 million, spend it on a 24-year-old who can be there for a long time and has more longevity versus a 30-year-old in Harry Kane. But that weren't my point. He's saying go for like younger players. If we're saying we need that 20-goal man guaranteed, if it ain't Kane or Osimhen, like who? Would it have to be a fairly unknown entity and like a younger up-and-coming player?
It'd have to be a risk.
He's got the attributes. Like Ten Hag's looked at him and go, I know that guy can score goals, but I need to develop him.
We've been linked to people like Gonzalo Ramos for a reason, haven't we? That's the name that keeps coming up. I mean, I think you and I are kind of on the same page with that one. I don't know. That's a bit of a risk. Had a good World Cup, has had a good season at Benfica this year, has scored goals. But then to Andrew Cole's point is, then maybe that's the risks you've got to take. But it just feels like even when we do take those risks on those young players, they don't pay off. They don't like. You mentioned Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho is a great example. He was young, like numbers were really strong at Borussia Dortmund, and we thought brilliant. And I put a poll up in the match view last weekend saying, has Jadon Sancho been a flop at Manchester United? And the people in the studio at the time, I think it was KG, Micah, and Raf, were like, you can't say that. You can't say that. Why not? Why can't you say that about Jadon Sancho? Why can't you say it? I don't think he's going to go in the summer. I don't think he's going to go in the summer. And but what I do think with Sancho is, I think he's got next season, and that's maybe it, honestly. Because, and again, price tag wages, that's not the player's fault. They get offered, and you're a fool to this is way too much. I'm not worth this, so I'm not going to sign that. Of course you are going to sign it. But at the same time, like, he hasn't been it. He just hasn't. Last season, okay, fair enough, coming into a bad side and underperforming side, whatever. This season, I know he's had his issues, but even now, you just sort of go, like, it's not working. It's not. And maybe the team has to move in a different direction or evolve for it to work for him. But I reckon he's got a season left. I really do. Otherwise, then it's like, well, maybe we're going to have to.
That would have been a really quick 3 years that just went, and you're like, where was he?
Yeah,
where was he for 3 years for 72 point something million? I think the biggest problem that we've got with Jadon Sancho as well is Ten Hag can't find a role for him. He can't find a way that I'm not even there, am I?
Yeah, he kind of frozen-ish. You're back.
I'm back. He can't find a way to get the best out of him. And I know that it works the other way of Sancho can't find a way to get the best out of himself. He hasn't been playing very well. But it doesn't look like he can naturally fit into this team in any way. Too many things need to change at the club in a short space of time for it to suit him. I.e., Man United are really flawless with the ball, high possession team, hardly playing transitions, loads of passing options, loads of overlaps, pass the ball to death, loads of options on the ball, technically gifted players all over the park. We're miles away from having that. Like we said, the only two technical players we have are Martinez and Eriksen, who want to put their foot on the ball. And Lindelof can play in that way. I get it, like in the way that he wants to. Luke Shaw's capable, you know what I mean? And actually, Sancho's probably another one who's technically sound, like wants the ball nice to feet, let's play. But basically, we're miles off that, miles off it. Anthony's not that guy. Martial, forget it. He's done. Bruno's not that type of player. Casemiro's not that type of player. Fred and McTominay aren't that. Sabitza's not that. Rafael Varane's not that. Wan-Bissaka's not that. Dalot is a bit more technical, but is he a purist? Like, you know, probably not, but he is technical of some sort. Malacia is not that. We've got a lot of players that ain't that. And I think it's I think you absolutely can call Jadon Sancho a flop so far. Of course it has been. Well, what's the last 2 years been? Has it been good? No,
exactly.
It's been rubbish.
And I don't think it's too soon to say. You know, people go, it's too soon to say.
No, it's not too soon. The
sample size is all right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Again, and that's not to say he never ever will be good enough.
No.
You know, and he is a good player, but
time's running out for him. Like you can't, and it's uncomfortable. And you know what? It's weird, isn't it? Because it's uncomfortable to talk about, uncomfortable to say. Like sometimes you just, when you look at how long he's been at the club now, like 2 seasons, and you take a step back and you go, actually, I don't think this is working out. Like I don't think this isn't going well for him. And you watch him play, and sometimes he'll play well against Spurs. I thought it was unfortunate to come off. Of course, he scored the opening goal, played okay. But then there are some games where he just drifts through the game. And we're not in, and this is what I say about people like Donny as well, we're just not in that position at the moment where we can afford people that drift through games. Even sometimes Marcus Rashford does it, and we go, like, Marcus, what are you doing? Are you impacting the game? But sometimes he drifts through it, and then occasionally he'll get a goal, and you go, okay, then it works out.
Yeah, I mean, Jadon Sancho the other day. I mean, look, when I watched it back, I mean, we were going to maybe mark him a 4, and I watched it back, and it's like, you know, we nearly scored. He cut in, you know, had a good shot, forced a good save from the keeper. If he scores that, you go, that's what you want to see more. It changes. I'm not saying it changes overall what we think of how he's done, because, like you said, the sample size is there. 1 or 2 games, or if he scored in the next 3 games to the end of the season, it wouldn't change what had gone before this. But then you just see Garnacho come on the pitch and see what he does. And I'm not saying Garnacho has to come on and score every time, and that means C. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying just the impact of the player and how they play and the style. That's what Ten Hag wants. You could argue also that he definitely does want technically sound players. He does, but in his wide areas, he's shown us his hand. He's got Rashford going, and he's just direct and not really along the whole total football style. He's got Anthony in there, who is at it and, you know, tenacious, and definitely isn't all football style. He makes some awful decisions on the ball, but he's direct and at it. Yeah. Very frustrating. Garnacho is in there, you know, so, and he hasn't really gone for Jadon Sancho. So it's a proper big problem. If the right money came in for Sancho this summer, do you think Ten Hag would just go, do you know what? If someone offered me,
how much do you?
If someone offered 58 million for Sancho, would you cut a lot and say that we spent 72? Because also he's on huge wages as well,
Yeah.
huge wages, which actually would make it difficult to shift him.
Mm.
But do you think if the right situation came through, Ten Hag would look at it, or do you think he goes, no, I know I can get something out of him. I know I can.
If an offer came in like a 60, maybe even a high 50s, I'd probably consider it. I think he needs to go out on loan. I think I would like a loan back to Dortmund for a season would be the best. Would be the best thing for him. It would.
But that don't help us.
Half the wages. No, he wouldn't. No one would take his full wages. But
No.
a portion of his.
And then we have to
portion
pay
of the
half the wages to try and get something out of Sancho, and then get him back, and he's on 300k, and then what?
But like you say, also as well, I don't see where he fits into this side anymore. Because if you're talking about players per position, and we're saying, I know Sancho was brought in for the right hand side, but he didn't really play there that often.
He's better off on the right hand side.
He's better off the left. But for me, there's two players ahead of him on the left in Rashford and Garnacho. I would rather have Garnacho in the team than Jadon Sancho at the moment. I would. Yeah. And let's face it, it's going to be Rashford starting all the time anyway. And then Garnacho comes on after 60 minutes, impacts the game. So where's Sancho going to play? People can say, he can play as a number 10. He doesn't affect the game like Bruno does as the 10. And again, not many people are getting ahead of Bruno Fernandes in the number 10. Just ask Donny. Right-hand side, it's Anthony and possibly Ahmad next season too. So you've got your options there. So you then go, well, where does Jadon Sancho fit? There are all of these players ahead of him in all of these different positions. He kind of feels a player without a home, really. So I don't know. Like, again, I don't think he's going to go in the summer, but I think he's literally got a season left. That's it.
Emperor Jerome says Sancho should have pre-season and next season to prove himself. See how he fares with a full season and newer players. After then, he goes. I do think it is one more season.
I think he'll get another season. And he was good in pre-season last year. On tour, he was good. He was really, really good. And he started, and then people forget he started the season pretty well. He scored against Liverpool, and I think he scored against Leicester as well. Yeah. So he started well, and then obviously he dropped off. And we know what happened around the World Cup time, but still, it's just like, it's unfortunate to say, but when you do sort of say Jadon Sancho's time at United so far, sum it up, you'll say, well, not good enough.
Terrible.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Not good enough.
Terrible.
That's just that. Those are the facts of the situation. Not good enough. But I do think you'll get another season. I would also like to say, Flex, that we've got nearly 1,500 people watching, and we're currently at 211 likes, 212. We can get to 500. Well, Flex fumbles around with.
I've got so much. You know what? This is why. Yeah, I'm trying to get some order here. Yeah, order. I've got an AirPods case here. There's an iPad here I haven't used in 100 years. I've got a laptop here. There's a MacBook here. There's another one here. There's too much stuff here. Then the one that's on, I'm like, this is ridiculous. But when it just gets you in the moment, I'm like, this is annoying me. I need to. There's too much. There's too much stuff everywhere. And then, I've randomly just got a bow tie here from my suit from Moss Bros. Then I've got the charger for the stand for electric toothbrush, and I've got the cable that you can put in for different USBs, and I've got the European thing. It's Inspector Gadget settings here.
It was like that.
Too much stuff everywhere.
Yesterday in the control room, we were talking, and then Flex was in there for like 5 minutes, and it was like a hurricane. And then suddenly there was sunglasses everywhere. There was all this kind of stuff. There was a 25-minute discussion about who's the fussier eater between myself and Josh, coming soon. UV raw settings. I had some spicy rice, which was okay. That was nice.
Too spicy.
It was too spicy. It was. Even you said it was spicy, though.
Yeah, but in a good way. I liked it.
Flex, I think we also need to have a discussion of, are you worried?
Minna has just become a member of the UV Members Club. Pick up Minna. Just putting out the super chats first.
Yeah.
I just don't want to go there. Let's do the super chats first.
Yeah,
hold that there. I don't, but we're gonna have
to talk about it.
A left field suggestion: don't rule out a third try for. I know I said that already. WJ Barrett says Jaden will be cool when we get a striker. Martial, Rashford, etc. all aren't target men for him. He made his career shine with Haaland in the 9, and he'll thrive. Interesting. Hopefully that is the case. I really do. And we need a poor player agreement. I'll be honest on Mason Greenwood. Not so you don't think we're not reading out super chats or trying to block people here on this channel. We've decided that with him, we're not making any comment on him until it's done and dusted and the club have decided what they're going to do. I think it's far too inconsiderate of people who have been through a lot in their lives, and I don't think that's for us to do that. I know it's a fan channel and we should be discussing football stuff and make it football and stuff like that. Me, as personal with my values and how I want this channel to be, and it's no disrespect to anyone who has any other different opinions, but for me, there's a lot of people who I think have been affected by situations like that on both sides, and I just think it's unfair. And like there isn't a sense of warning for people who this is a safe place for people. So forgive me if you guys disagree with that and you think we should be discussing the likes of him and what we should do. But I just made a blanket response from the start that we're only going to go off official statements and sum it up at the end. That's just what we decided as a community. So I hope you guys are okay with that. But that's going to be the decision on that. But thank you for your super chat. Robert says, so Jim Ratcliffe using PayPal's paying free to buy United. Exactly. This, I mean, he's playing on Klarna. He is. WJ Barrett says, Ollie got him and benched him. This season, he's been out for unknown reasons. Next year will be his year. Trust me. We need depth like City. Keep him. Yeah, he's quality. He's a quality player. And if you say you got someone like Jadon Sancho to come in and do something, but the problem is that he's not an impact player though off the bench. He's not someone where if the game's going tight, you go, oh, he'll be great. He can change the game. It's either he starts and does something, and then he comes up, and he never completes 90 minutes ever.
No.
And Minna is the latest member of the UV Members Club as well. Big up to Minna. Yes.
But Fleck, are you worried?
Yeah. Of course. You have to be. I
put a poll in the chat last night, and I'm going to put the poll in once again to see if we get any different results. Like last night, the poll in the chat was, will Manchester City win the treble? And I will ask the question to the UV community once more.
Oh, man. Well, you're asking me.
I'm not asking you. My question to you was, are you worried?
Worried that they're going to win it because they can beat us in the final, because they're definitely going to win the
Are you worried they're going to do it? I think last night was... We chatted on the phone afterwards, after the game, didn't we? And we were sort of saying, it's not good. Like, it's not looking good, obviously, because they're in the Champions League final, in the FA Cup final. They need 3 wins to win the treble. That's it. They need to win at the weekend. They've won the Premier League. Obviously, they need to win the Champions League final. They need to win the FA Cup final. And it's a very real possibility. This is a City side that's won their last 15 plus games. And I sort of said, this whole thing about them winning the Champions League, we've been quite naive, I think, as United fans about them winning the Champions League. Because for a while, obviously, they've come close. They've been getting closer. But we're all like, see, you can spend all the money you want. You can cheat as much as you're cheating and all this kind of stuff. But you still can't buy the Champions League. Well, you can. You can. And it's almost naive of us to think that they wouldn't win the Champions League eventually. They've been getting closer. They've got to finals every year. They're like quarterfinal, semi-final or more.
They get to the latter stages all the time.
Yeah. And it's at this point where even those big hitters, Real Madrid, if they want to get to them, Bayern Munich, they dwarf them. I mean, it's not even close. They treat them like a baby. Like, honestly. But it is. It is. True. Look at them. Bayern Munich swept them aside, no problem. When they went to the Etihad, Bayern Munich looked shell-shocked. Last night, Real Madrid goes there. And to be honest, I think most people that have been watching the Premier League this season wouldn't. I don't know about you. I wasn't surprised by that last night.
No,
this is why I was constantly saying. I was like, they're going to get into the Champions League final. They're going to beat Real Madrid. They're like, Real Madrid. It's their competition. Benzema, Vinicius, Modric. No. Like at the Bernabeu, maybe, but at the Etihad, no. They're going to get swept aside. And
if it was 2-2 going back to the
Bernabeu, you go maybe.
And even that, they were 10 minutes away from doing it last year, and they should have done it.
Yeah, exactly. And realistically, what the position we're in right now, in my opinion, the only team I think that's got the possibility and capability to stop Manchester City winning the treble is us. Because I don't think Inter stand a chance. We don't have a really big chance. We're massive underdogs, but we have beaten City this season. Granted, the team that beat City, it's bizarre because we obviously beat them at Old Trafford in January. And that Man City team is not the same Man City team now. They're better. And realistically, that Man United team is not the same Man United team now. We're worse. Like, form-wise, like Rashford was on fire that day. He was a monster. It's not the same Marcus Rashford right now. It's just not. Casemiro that day was brilliant. Not the same Casemiro right now. But we need to hope and we need to believe that for one game, neutral territory, we can get it done. Because realistically, in my opinion, the only team that can stop them is us. And even that, we've got a puncher's chance.
Yeah, I think it's heavily stacked against us where we are the complete underdogs and everyone's expecting City to smash Man United in the final. But what I will push back on is the fact that we do have to believe, like, this is massive. Like, yes, we have to believe in another trophy for Erik ten Hag. Like, we've got a chance to win another trophy. But we can't hide from this treble. We can't hide from it because that is what it is. It's the first time there's been a Manchester derby in the FA Cup final. That's flipping massive. Let alone with the stakes and the story behind it being this. They can do the treble on our watch. You know? Who wants to be watching the FA Cup final knowing that they've just beat the Champions League final, knowing that they've got the double in the bag because they beat us, and we're watching that, praying that Inter Milan do something, knowing that they're probably not going to. You know, we have to draw on all of those football cliches that you said. One-off game, form goes out the window. It's a final. Footballing gods, and then probably in and amongst that five that I'm going to say, believing in the players and the team. Like, I know, like, people will laugh at us and say, United fans, you got no chance. People have been saying that to us. United fans have been saying that. We got no chance of beating them. And when you look at it yesterday and you look at what they did to Real Madrid and you look at it, you just think, flipping heck, man. But the same when Oli was here, the same way this season when we did it, when we weren't favourites to win the game against City, when we played them earlier, we were probably still underdogs then as well because City are that good. We've always been underdogs to beat City whenever we've played them in the last 5 years, probably, or three years, let's say. That hasn't changed. Yes, City have got even better and we've actually got worse. But under Erik ten Hag, it is our job to believe as fans. It's our job. This is the This ain't no like it's a one-off game. Whatever happens. This is the fucking treble. Like, it's on the line. Like, this is it. And if they don't do it, if they do it, sorry, shame on us. Shame on us.
Well, at least
shame on us. Don't moan at anyone else. Don't say, I can't believe Arsenal didn't do this. Can't believe Real Madrid and Benzema. Well, you know, shame on us. It's on us. You know, am I scared? Am I worried? Absolutely. Is it going to be one of the worst days of my footballing life if we go there and get embarrassed and they get the treble? Absolutely. Is it going to be hostile outside the ground and awful if we lose the game? All them City fans and Man United fans in close proximity. It's going to be horrendous. But this is what being a fan is about. This is what it is. You want Man United to be a part of history. You want and this isn't even like the top end of Man United returning back to where we want to be, fighting for Champions Leagues, like doing what City had just done in the semi-final, fighting for a Premier League. They've got a chance to win it on the weekend. They just need one more win. We need 2 more wins to get bloody top 4. That's where we're at. But essentially, though, when it comes down to the stories and the beauty of football as a fan, you want to be involved in the biggest games. And this is the biggest game. This is the biggest derby, arguably, in history.
Yeah.
Isn't it, really? Now, the derby game between us two, between Man City and Man United.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you could talk about, you know, when we played them at the Etihad when they won the league in 2012, you know, and that was basically, you know, kind of determining who was going to win the league. But this is possibly for the treble, really.
Because it's for our greatest ever. This is us defending our thing where we say, no, in Ty's word, nobody can talk to us.
Yeah.
With the treble, we can literally say, but who are they? They haven't won a treble. Have you ever won a treble? Have you ever won a treble? Can't sing it anymore. Like, that is the one thing that separates Man United above any other team. Do you know what I mean? The Busby Babes and the story of the Busby Babes and the treble. There's a reason why it's never been done again. The same with the Invincibles.
And the manner in which we won the treble as well.
And
We're
the
talking
manner of
about,
which we won it.
Solskjaer.
But I tell you what, the manner of which they're going to win their treble, not last minute being 1-0 down and then you do it in the draw. They're just going to blitz it. Ease,
pulverize
light
people.
work.
Yeah.
Exactly. Battered Bayern Munich on the way. Battered Real Madrid on the way. We're behind Arsenal. Mashed them up. Mashed our biggest rivals up in the final in their face in the FA Cup.
Just win 16, 17 games in a row. That's how we're going to do it.
Do you know what I'm saying? So not only, this is what I'm saying, not only would it be them, they can say they've done the treble, they did it in better fashion than us. And that is the truth. I know the way that we won it is like, that will never be rewritten. Oh my God. I'm not saying about the drama of it, but drama doesn't mean that somebody winning with ease, dispatching of the best is not better. So that is why we have to stop them. And we have to believe we can stop them. None of this, oh, nah, man, we've got no chance against F that. I'll be turning in the lead up to that, I'm going to be turning into the Robbie outside the Etihad when he done that video. I laughed at him for doing that, but I can see why. Because you have to believe. We may as well pack up and go home. In the UV studio, when we walk in, there is a montage of the legends of this team. Legends. And the 99 team, the treble winning team, and them characters. That's what we're built on. And the Busby Babes before that.
Yeah.
What? We must just forget about all that and not believe we can beat Man City in a one-off game in a neutral ground. Come on, man. Like, I'm sorry. We can't. We have to believe.
And for all this talk, I know people will talk about, the FFP stuff and the charges and all this kind of stuff. And look, it's true. Everyone knows. Everyone knows that they've inflated those numbers. Everyone knows that, they got the highest sponsorship revenue in the world. Yeah, bullshit. But at the same time, it doesn't matter, because if it happened, it happened. I equate it to, I said last night to you on the phone that Marseille, they won the Champions League in 1993. And then after that, there was this big sort of French football scandal. I think they were banned from the next season's Champions League. I think they were stripped of their league title by the French FA. But it doesn't matter, because it happened. And the City fans, they'll be like, well, oh, yeah, we're being scrutinized unfairly, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. It happened. And the only sort of comfort I have in all of this is that we do have the chance to do something about it. Because if we were just sitting by going like, they've got 3 games to win the treble and none of them involve us, we've got to rely on hope that they bottle it. And let's face it too, last season with Liverpool, that was a close call. That wasn't involving us. They could have done it. They were minutes away from winning the league. They were in the Champions League final and they didn't do it. They lost those games. They bottled it, whatever you want to say. Yeah. But that was a close call. And we all celebrated and rejoiced so last year. And we were like, oh, yeah, great. But you have to realize,
we'll never be in that position again.
This incident with Man City or Liverpool, it's been coming. Yeah, it's been coming because we're not in the conversation anymore. And when you're not in the conversation, you can lead to situations like this. So the only hope I have is that, yeah, we're involved. And we've got to, and it's got to get across to the players, like, this is about more than just winning the FA Cup. Yeah. This isn't about just, it'd be great for Ten Hag to win a second trophy. No, you have to stop them. It's not only the pride of the players, it's the pride of Man United based on it. And
the thing that really does
the game's bigger than it already was. Like it's an FA Cup final, exactly. One bit. It's a Manchester derby, first ever in the FA Cup final. Second bit, you could potentially stop them winning the treble, matching your greatest accomplishment. Holy effing shit, Fleck. Yeah. There is so much riding on this game.
It's 100 years of Wembley as well. And the thing that
does FA Cup final ever.
Exactly. And the thing that does worry me is that someone said it there about, these players' mentality flex. Like you said it as well when we were talking, like if we go 1-0 down against them, like I know we came back against them at home, like we did, but it's like it's extremely peak. It's extremely peak. Like so many things have to go right in that game. Tactically, like you're talking like things like where you go, no, these are one-off games. Yeah, bring in Fred and make him run around on De Bruyne again. Give me you can't have Christian Eriksen just being a passenger. I'm not just trying to dig him out, but I'm saying go with the players for the strategic plan. Do you need to bring Luke Shaw back in at left centre back and play him with Varane again? Do you need to do that?
Yeah.
And put Dalot left back this time instead of Malacia? because Wan-Bissaka's got to play against Grealish. Like, we're already thinking about this. We've still got so much to sort out. We need to beat Bournemouth on the weekend, by the way.
But like, for instance, like, you know, in the recent games we've seen, like, you know, Anthony missed chances. It's like, mate, you can't do that in that game. You have to, one chance you have to score. Rashi, I know you've been off it for like this, you know, last few months. You need to get back to where you were at. David De Gea, not only do you need to make saves, but no stupid passing. And even if that's just like, don't play out from the back, don't play out from the back that day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go full counter attack.
Go long play. Yeah.
You know,
and that's what I mean. Like, game planning, and to a certain extent, unless you're City, where it's business as usual, we play how we play. To beat City, you have to have a specific game plan. You can't just do what you normally do. Arsenal didn't try to change enough by going to play them. No. Got smashed. I know they had to play Rob Holding and stuff, but exactly, didn't change enough. And like, you have to have a specific game plan. If that's man marking De Bruyne to try and upset the rhythm, if that's getting one player aggressive on Haaland, like, look at the game plan in the first leg on Haaland with what Rudiger was doing to him. That's what you got to do. You got to rough him up. You got to. He's up for the fight, by the way. I'm not saying he bottles it, because he should have scored in both legs, to be honest. Especially last night, he should have scored 4. Haaland, you know. And actually, it's ironic because, you know, Cams was telling me he's the best finisher ever in the world. Look, he does need a lot of chances to score sometimes.
Courtois made saves last night. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, he made 2. He made 2 really good ones, and then the other 2 he should have scored.
The hope is with when they play Inter Milan in the final is that I don't think, like Bayern Munich, like Real Madrid, Inter Milan, they shouldn't rather be naive enough to think, oh yeah, we're just going to play our normal thing. No, you try and win that one-off game. Yeah, you put people behind the ball. You play counter-attacking football. You do that. That's what you've got to do to try and beat City, and then hope you get a bit of luck as well. But, you know, the poll quickly says over nearly 600 votes. Will Manchester City win the treble? 58% say yes.
Okay. Love says, Flex, SJ wants a job. She's scared to ask. Don't know who you mean. Big up. JJ Ash says, you stop them. Must be having a laugh. I think JJ Ash is an Arsenal fan, I think. I'm not sure. JJ Ash says, in the words of a wise man, it is all in your hands to stop the treble, but you will bottle it. The noisy neighbours are the team in Manchester. Yeah, JJ Ash coming through to troll. Big up to you. Ahmed says, even if City win the treble, it will always be tainted, allegedly. Allegedly. And I am Godders. Thank you for the contribution. Thank you for the contribution. So, yeah, there you go. Yeah, thanks for that, Owen, but it's true. I don't know how many likes we're on, but as we leave, can you just hit that like button, please? Can you just do that? That would be great. That would be lovely. Please hit the like button. And subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're nearly at 140k. It'd be good to hit that very, very soon. Tomorrow, press conference, lead up to the game on Saturday. You know, there is another game, another 3 points to play for. Can we just get one more last away win? If we can do that.
SJ, by the way, is Steffi Jenks.
Oh, right. Sorry. I didn't know that. My bad. Steffi Jenks. Do you know what? I didn't, because I've always see it as her name is Steffi Jenks. I never see it as just SJ. So there's been
a recent change.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't know that. And someone said I missed Ahmed's.
Yeah, Duma, there was a members chat from 10 months of support. Says 10 months, man. Love you guys. Also, are we getting rolled over in the final?
No comment. Let's deal with top 4. Let's deal with top 4 first. Let's deal with top 4. You know what I mean? And apologies to Steffi Jenks as well. You are an absolute legend here in the community. I just didn't know that it was gone to SJ. So big up to you. You know, it's all love. Right, guys. See you again soon. Take care. Peace.